Well, here we are a couple of months further down the road. The new transmission has arrived, and I'm not sure if it's going to work either because there's a couple of little issues that may not be compatible. But anyways, we're going to put the car up on the lift again and take a look and see if it looks right. So anyway, this would be the new transaxle here. And one thing I've noticed that I don't see any studs here for mounting the clutch cable bracket like this one has here, and I'm not so sure how that's going to work out. So I got to go under the car and see I'm pretty sure the one that's under there is the same as this. Now this is the bus transaxle here, and you can see just by looking at them side by side how different they are, and where the shift tower is sitting much higher here, and that's what caused the problem with putting this transmission into the Beetle. I could have hacked my way around it, but I didn't really want to start hacking at this car. So, and this one here, of course, is quite a bit lower. So, anyways, I'm gonna get suited up here and put the Volkswagen back up on the lift and see what happens. Well, that pretty much brings us back to close to where we were last time when I started to change this transmission out. And so yeah, I just have to undo the half shafts, unbolt those on both sides, and disconnect the mounts and the shift rod, and a couple of wires for the reverse switch, the reverse light switch. And pull that transaxle out and swap a few parts over to this one. I did find there is a bracket on this transmission that's in the car, that one, and the bracket bolts onto these two bolts here, and to hold the cable mount, so that the cable comes up here for the clutch, and so that'll take care of that problem. And I also have to swap out the reverse light switch, which goes in there. Put that in there, and swap the starter over to it. Actually, this would be a good time to put a new starter on it too, but this one seems to work okay, I think. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or maybe I've got another starter on hand here. I'll have a look around in my assortment of junk. Hey, that'd be cool on there. How about that? Yeah, maybe not. I'm using a mix of Slick 50. It's a gear treatment additive, and 80W90 gear lube. And this stuff is supposed to make it work a lot slicker, and we'll see what happens. Well, I had to order a new throwout bearing and pressure plate because the ones that are on for the other transmission won't work with the new transmission. So Anyways, I ordered these on Friday and they arrived on Monday, so that was pretty quick service from our friends at AVR in Vancouver. Anyways, the difference with this originates in this release arm here, and you can see this transmission does not have this sleeve on it, whereas this one does. And you can see that the arm is different, the way that the throw-up bearing fits into it. And so anyways, I got a brand new clutch pressure plate and throw-up bearing for it, which is I didn't expect to have to do that, because this clutch and pressure plate has not been hasn't really got a lot of miles on it. As you can see, it still looks like new, because it is. Another difference is this clutch has got this ring in it here, and although I haven't opened the box up and looked at the new one yet, but apparently the new one doesn't have that. So anyways, once I get it up, opened up, and I'll show you the difference. Well, look at that. Our friends at AVR sent us a magazine. How about that? Well, we'll just have to add that to the pile. It's a second shipment I received that had a magazine in it. I can't remember where the other one came from, though. Okay, there's a new clutch. New clutch disc. Pressure plate. Well, look at that. I've never got one of those with a clutch before. That's a dummy input shaft, so you can line the clutch up. And it also comes with a new, looks like a new pilot bushing. Or in this case, it's an actual, geez, there we go. It's an actual bearing. And this is the new throwout bearing is in this box, but I can't open it with one hand. Anyways, let's unwrap all this stuff just like Christmas, eh? Okay, you can see that this new pressure plate does not have that big metal ring on the fingers here. That ring is not on the new one. And here's the two different throw-up bearings. This is the old style here, and it has separate clips, and that would be the part number for the old style. And here's the new one. You can see there's quite a bit of difference between the way they mount, and this one has the clips built into it. And there's the part number for that one, if you want to know, if you need it. And so we'll go ahead and we'll install this new throw-up bearing into the new transmission. And I think I'm going to pack up the old clutch pressure plate and throw-out bearing and store it away somewhere, because I'm not sure, but it might be the same as the one that's in the dune buggy. But I'm not going to tear the dune buggy apart to find out, but I'll just keep them on hand here. At worst, I could always put them up for sale cheap. Somebody could get a nice cheap clutch and pressure plate. Okay, let's get at her. Okay, that's got our new throwout bearing installed. And according to the picture I saw in the service manual, those little spring clips, like that, point downward in that perspective. And okay, let's go do the pressure plate now. You can see how little wear there is on this pressure plate. It's not glazed or anything. And on the clutch disc, it hasn't even worn the stencil off. So I can't remember how long ago it was I put this clutch in, but it doesn't have an awful lot of miles on it. And I usually take good care of my clutches and try not to burn them up. Anyway, let's get the new stuff, the newest, and put it in. Okay, now you use your dummy input shaft. Stick it in the clutch, and then that'll go into the pilot bearing, and that'll hold your clutch disc in alignment while you bolt your pressure plate in. There. Start putting the bolts to it. I'm going to try and tighten them up evenly in a crisscross fashion to avoid warping anything. Then torque it to spec. This one calls for 18 foot-pounds, which is pretty light. That should have it. Okay, that's done. Okay, now that we're done torquing that, we can remove the dummy and put that away in the toolbox for next time around. Fantastic. Okay, we're almost ready to start putting things back into the car, starting with the transmission. Okay, we're all ready to put the new transmission in place, back in that hole there, and stick some bolts in it there to hold it, and roll the transmission jack out from under it, and finish all the hookup, and then we'll drop the motor back in. So, pitter patter, let's get at her. Okay, new transaxle is in, and it's about time to plug the motor back in. Okay, there's the transaxle, all bolted in, installed, engine's in. Everything's all reconnected and hooked up. All we have to do is road test it and see how that goes. I got to set the clutch up yet. Can do that. Actually, I can do that before I even take it off the lift. But yeah, we'll see how this goes in the road test.